Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm talking to Dipsea runners on behalf of the race. I'm on Zoom today with Alex Varner, nine-time best time winner of the Dipsea. How are you doing, Alex?
Good, Sam. Doing well today.
Awesome. It's great to see you, and I'm wondering, I think many Marin runners probably know a lot about your history with the Dipsea race, but I'm wondering if we could kind of start at the beginning and tell about your running background and eventually what led you to the Dipsea itself.
Yeah, so I grew up in Santa Fe and went to high school locally. In my senior year, I'd run cross country for 4 years. In my senior year, my coach floated the idea of running the Dipsea, and there was another kid, a woman on the team, Liz Gill, who would run it, and her mother Linda as well. So I kind of knew it through them, but I'd never done it. And yeah, Steve, my coach, kind of said, "Why don't you try this?" I said, "Sure." And so one day we ended up running the course out to Stinson and hitchhiking back, which was interesting. But yeah, that was my first experience. And then I ran it that summer. I think that was 2003, I want to say. And I've been back basically every year since, except '04 when I had a stress fracture. And yeah, that's where we stand now. I'm going for whatever number, 16, 17, something like that. Yeah.
That's a lot of Dipsies. So, I found that many coaches have strong opinions about the Dipsea, and they're kind of all in, or they're like, you must avoid at all costs to avoid injury.
Yeah. Yeah. My college coach, I kind of had to downplay what it actually was to get him to be okay with me running. But for high school, my coach in high school loved it and was like, yeah, this is a great event. And like more kids should do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love seeing. I mean, the young people are always, the little kids and the older people get such big cheers, and I think that the high school award has such a long history, and then I feel like people kind of often drift away, and you were one of the maybe few that didn't during your 20s, and you really excelled, getting a bunch of best time awards during that part of during that decade.
It was fun. It was fun to stay close to. I definitely kind of had a strong connection with it, and it wasn't difficult to stay close.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you have any strong memories of your first Dipsea in 2003 or so?
No, nothing in particular. I have a picture from it that this is back in my archives somewhere, wearing basketball shorts. But that's that's about all I got for the first one.
Yeah. So is there a particular race that really stands out for you as a really good one, or really strong memories from it?
Just the two. I think the two where I finished right behind Chris Lundy were probably stand out the most. Just as far as like it being kind of a cool concept of, really proof and point of chasing somebody, such different, man and woman, like different, two different genders, different age groups, kind of just really, breaking down proving how well the handicaps can work at times.
Yeah, for sure. That I think it was 20 seconds was the smallest margin.
I think it was like less than 40 seconds combined between the 2 years. I think I could see her on the straightaway both times. Yeah.
During that really close one, was there ever did you ever feel like you had a chance to catch her, or was it clear pretty far back?
She was pretty far out. Like she would have had to fall it or something. Yeah. And even then, I don't know that it would have been, I guess it is anybody first person across the finish line. But I think at no point, did I remember or did I really entertain winning. The second time, I forgot that she was still out there. And I remember asking Diana Fitzpatrick, who was left as we were coming out of door number 2, I want to say, or door number 1. And she said, Chris is out there. And I was like, oh, I forgot about her.
I'm sure that all the top runners must be going through your head as you're passing them left.
There's some of that, and there's a lot of brain fog at that point too. So you're kind of trying to piece together where you are.
To think about. I mean, you got the numbers, you got the runners, you got the trail itself, and your usual routines. I'm sure that it's a lot.
Yeah,
I know that just running it as the average runner, it's like just focusing on the trail and not falling is enough.
Yeah, that's usually number one priority, is stay upright.
Yeah. So how much of your year and your running training do you plan around the dips? Like, is it really the highlight of your running season, or is it just a really a highlight of the year, but not necessarily one you train for around typically?
So I guess the last year or so has been pretty different for me. Prior to that, it was definitely a goal. There were a couple of years in there, I think whatever the 2 years were where I didn't win the fastest time, I had other kind of longer distance race goals. And so the training suffered a little bit as far as being Dipsea specific. But outside of those couple of years, I after realizing kind of how different the training was, I put an effort back into getting more specificity. The last couple of years, though, I've kind of honestly, like after 20 plus years of training and racing, starting in high school, I definitely kind of fell out of love with the just kind of going out there and flogging yourself month after month, year after year. And so I put in, I want to say Dipsea was November of last year. I put in a couple, like probably 2 months of training ahead of that. And this year I've been training for a couple of weeks now. And, we have another month or so. But it's much more kind of perfunctory this time. I'm really excited about the race itself. But as far as the training goes and getting out on course, I'm doing it, but not with the same level as kind of enthusiasm or motivation that I have in the past. Mostly because I want to put my best foot forward on race day. And I know that I need to train in order to do that. And I know that if I don't, then I'll look back on it and kind of wish I'd done a little bit more, even if it's not kind of super enjoyable for me right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably fairly typical that people go through highs and lows, in their running careers with different races. And I remember for myself, there was one year when I wore the timing chip wrong, and then register, and I was so upset, and that ended my streak of running several Dipseas in a row. It was just so discouraging that I was in kind of a low place for a little while. But eventually,
I think last year and this year, Dipsea will probably be the only race that I run. I don't really have a desire to do anything else at the moment. We'll see at the end of the year if that changes, but for now, I haven't run any races this spring, and I don't have any plans to kind of run any this summer either, following Dipsea.
Yeah, well, it's great that at least you're still participating in the Dipsea every year. I know that it would not be the same race without you. Do you have plans to run it with your son in the future?
With my daughter.
Oh, you have I'm sorry.
No worries. I don't know. We'll see. She's 5. She just turned 5. If she wants to at some point, I'll let her, but I'm not pushing her into anything. I think it's, it's something that has to come from her. And I want to see her excited about it before I, kind of think about letting her do it. Yeah,
for sure. It's got such a family, atmosphere, that a family friendly atmosphere. I feel like many kids are intrigued at a really young age to
we'll see. I think we'll see. It'd be fun for her to be at the finish line and see kind of the excitement around it. Maybe that'll give her a bug or not. We'll find out.
Yeah, for sure. And finally, what does the Dipsea, after all these years, what does the race mean to you, especially given that it's the one that you are planning to do this year?
Yeah, I think it's just it's something that I can count on and kind of plan around, and will definitely get me out the door in training for at least a month or two a year. A lot of it's just the community, honestly. The Pelican team that I run with, knowing a lot of the Tamalpa members and the Marin AC, all the kind of different groups that are out there. It's just a fun community event. I think a lot of people really enjoy it, and it's a highlight for many. And I think that's it's easy to get kind of caught up in it and just swept away with the kind of importance that people place on it, at least locally.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good luck on June 12th, and I really appreciate your taking the time to talk to me today.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome.